Chinese spy products are everywhere. A software engineer in Spain recently revealed that there is a serious back-end security flaw in DJI's robotic vacuum. The engineer, Sami Asdufal, was attempting to modify the DJI Romo robot vacuum with AI technology so that it could sync with a PlayStation 5 controller. In the process, he accidentally gained access to around 7,000 servers in 24 countries and regions. Using the device's built-in camera, he could remotely view users' homes, map out layouts, and even track the device's location through its IP address. In other words, he discovered a back-end security vulnerability that could turn the connected vacuum into a surveillance device, spying on its owner without their knowledge. Asdufal stated that he did not use any illegal methods to access the system. He simply took advantage of an interface vulnerability to gain full access. He said he did not profit from this flaw but chose to disclose it, hoping the company would fix the issue. DJI initially responded by claiming they had patched the problem, but after Asdufal rechecked, he said that some device data could still be accessed. Subsequently, DJI issued a statement admitting that there was an issue with their back-end permission verification. The incident sparked controversy on social media, with some netizens questioning whether this was a careless mistake or something intentional. One person said, "That's not a flaw, that's clearly a backdoor they created for themselves, and the user just happened to discover it. Looks like DJI is a spy company, probably intentional." Chinese Communist Party-controlled brands, Internet of Things devices, and network equipment. There are plenty of backdoors and vulnerabilities built in. If these aren't discovered, the CCP will quietly monitor and record user data. If discovered, they'll say it's a software or hardware error. This shows that all products from China have surveillance devices, including phones. If you're buying from China, be prepared for this. DJI's most well-known product, drones, is a typical CCP surveillance tool. The Chinese public is familiar with DJI's privacy-stealing features. On April 1st this year, a Chinese netizen posted about how photos taken with a DJI product had their data leaked directly to the Chinese police. The police even sent him a text message asking if he had bought a drone and reminded him that he needed to register it at the police station. Some netizens joked that drone enthusiasts are now considered key individuals to monitor by the authorities, fearing that they might be planning to assassinate leaders. At the end of last year, new DJI products failed to obtain certification from the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, which means they cannot be launched in the U.S. market. On March 18th this year, the FCC announced that it would lift the import ban on 4 foreign-made drones and key components. However, none of the approved models were from Chinese companies. This move represents an escalation in Washington's efforts to crack down on Chinese-made drones. It's noteworthy that DJI, a Chinese drone manufacturer, sold more than half of the commercial drones in the U.S., and now the U.S. only places restrictions on DJI's new products, signaling that the threat is far from over. It's not just DJI. Other Chinese brands of robotic vacuums also have similar privacy-stealing issues. In September last year, the Korea Consumer Agency released a survey revealing that 3 out of 6 popular robotic vacuum models were found to have security vulnerabilities. The surveyed products included Samsung's bespoke AI Steam, LG's Cord Zero RoboKing AI All-in-One, and 4 Chinese brands, Roborock's S9 Max V Ultra, Dream's X50 Ultra, Ecovacs Dbot X8 Pro Omni, and Narwhal Frio Z Ultra. Among these, Dream, Ecovacs, and Narwhal were flagged for issues. The investigation found that these models lacked proper user authentication processes or had security holes, allowing hackers to illegally access and control the machines through connected devices, even turning on the cameras. These vulnerabilities could lead to the theft of photos and videos from inside the home, as well as personal information such as names and phone numbers. The prices of these 3 Chinese products ranged from 800,000 to 900,000 Korean won, which was 300 to 400,000 Korean won cheaper than the products from Samsung, LG, and Roborock. Because they were affordable and with good features, these models had earned a reputation of being cost-effective, but now their security risks have raised concerns in the market. The survey showed that LG and Samsung products performed best in terms of security, with Roborock also performing close to the Korean brands, with no major vulnerabilities. The Korea Consumer Agency has urged Dream, Ecovacs, and Narwhal to immediately strengthen security measures to prevent hackers from exploiting these vulnerabilities. In addition, the Chinese Communist Party has been utilizing connected smart devices, such as electric vehicles and routers, that are closely linked to people's daily lives and work for espionage activities. Last year, the Israeli government took a series of actions due to concerns that Chinese-made smart devices might be involved in espionage. One of the measures included suspending the Ministry of Defense's tenders for Chinese-manufactured vehicles. The Israeli Defense Forces have stopped providing BYD Auto 3 electric vehicles to the officers. Previously, the IDF had equipped officers with Chinese-made vehicles, such as the MG ZS, the first internet-connected SUV from MG, a subsidiary of SAIC Motor. They also had the Chery Tiggo 8s. These vehicles are now banned from entering high-security bases. Additionally, the connected systems in the cars, such as the emergency e-call system, must be disconnected to prevent communication with external networks. Dr. Harel Menashri, one of the founders of the cyber division at Israel's Shin Bet, the national security agency, believes that these measures are still insufficient to eliminate the risk of intelligence leaks. He pointed out that the Chinese-made vehicles are equipped with advanced sensors that can collect video, audio, and even biometric data. Then they're directly transmitted to servers in China. This could expose intelligence related to personnel, facilities, and vehicle movements. Menashri also warned about the risks posed by Chinese-made surveillance cameras. Since 2018, the U.S. has banned the use of cameras produced by Chinese companies like Hikvision and Dahua, claiming that once these cameras are connected to networks, they immediately transmit data to CCP government servers. He noted that while the U.S. has banned the sale of such devices since 2021, Israeli government agencies, police, and the military continue to use them widely. Networked CCTV systems are considered sensitive information because it can be accessed remotely, raising concerns about surveillance and data privacy. As part of security system upgrades, the Indian government will begin replacing nearly 140,000 Chinese-made cameras in the Delhi region starting April 1st. India's Minister of Public Works, Parvesh Sahib Singh, stated that the move is aimed at replacing Hikvision cameras from China. This is in response to recent government directives and broader national security concerns. Singh said, "We have decided to gradually phase out most of the city's surveillance cameras, especially those from China's Hikvision." As of now, 274,389 CCTV cameras have been installed in Delhi in 2 phases, with a public works department overseeing the installation. Of these, 140,000 cameras installed between September 2020 and November 2022 are all made in China. Starting in April this year, all CCTV cameras sold in India must be certified under the government's standardized testing and quality certification framework. Under these regulations, companies must disclose the origin of key components like chipsets, pass cybersecurity testing, and ensure that the devices are protected from unauthorized remote access. Indian authorities have refused to issue certifications for products using Chinese-made components, including firmware and chipsets. This means that without approval, Chinese-made equipment cannot be legally sold in India. Hikvision, Dahua, and TP-Link, major Chinese surveillance giants, are expected to face the most significant impact. These 3 brands hold a large share of India's CCTV market. Recent data shows that Chinese-made cameras still account for about 1/3 of India's total sales. TP-Link, which holds a 95% market share in the U.S. for Wi-Fi routers, has also been accused of providing a pipeline for cyber attacks and espionage to the CCP government. Earlier, a group of Microsoft network researchers revealed a network controlled by a Chinese hacker entity, primarily consisting of routers made by TP-Link. This network targeted research institutions, organizations, and U.S. security system providers. The U.S. Departments of Commerce, Defense, and Justice have already launched an investigation into this matter in 2024. Chinese-made routers have been installed in U.S. Department of Defense facilities, NASA, and other federal agencies. Chinese robotics startup Unitree Robotics has also been exposed for serious cybersecurity vulnerabilities. According to IEEE Spectrum, security researchers Andreas Makaris and Kevin Finisterre publicly revealed in September last year that multiple robots from Unitree had significant vulnerabilities in their low-power Bluetooth Wi-Fi configuration interfaces, named Unipon. The most concerning aspect of this vulnerability is its worm-like characteristic. Once a robot is compromised, it can automatically scan for other nearby Unitree robots within Bluetooth range and infect them, creating a self-replicating botnet without any human intervention. Affected models include the company's GoTo and B2 quadruped robots, as well as the G1 and H1 humanoid robots. This marks the first major security flaw publicly disclosed in a commercial humanoid robot platform. Later, Macros discovered that the G1 humanoid robot automatically sends data to Chinese servers every 5 minutes, including audio, video, and various sensor data, without the owner's consent or notification. He stated that similar backdoor vulnerabilities had previously been found in the Unitree Go 1 robot, and whether these issues were due to deliberate design or development oversight, both are bad answers. Victor Mayoral-Vilch, founder of the robot cybersecurity company Alias Robotics, advised existing users to disable Bluetooth, use Wi-Fi for connections, and operate the robots in an isolated network environment. He emphasized that humanoid robot systems are complex, with broad attack surfaces, and if they go out of control and are misused, they could pose physical threats. The consequences of the CCP's use of drones, robots, cameras, and electric vehicles may not be as severe as solar panels. Chinese solar panel manufacturers have been found to secretly install cellular radios, or kill switches, in their inverters. The power inverters in solar panels are responsible for converting the direct current, DC, generated by solar panels into alternating current, AC, for the grid, and are often called the brain of solar systems. It has been reported that Chinese manufacturers have remotely shut down user solar panels, displaying messages stating that the country is outside the permitted range. These Chinese solar manufacturers are essentially extensions of the Chinese military, capable of shutting down large-scale solar panels at any time, potentially causing massive power outages. Most national security experts believe that if China were to attack Taiwan and the US stepped in, China could trigger large-scale power outages in the US and Europe. Michael Schellenberger, a well-known U.S. energy expert and author, stated on American Thought Leader that one of the main reasons Chinese solar panels are so cheap is because they rely on forced labor from Uyghur Muslims, along with government subsidies that allow them to dump products and cripple the manufacturing industries of other countries. He added that the U.S. is the most likely country to go to war, yet it is also the country most dependent on foreign military technology. On November 15, 2024, Chinese solar inverter manufacturer DeYe remotely shut down solar inverters in the US, UK, Pakistan, and other countries. At the time, DeYe disabled some inverters installed in these countries, and users saw messages on their screens indicating the devices were only for use in specific countries, preventing them from generating power. Investigations suggested that this incident may have been caused by commercial disputes between the manufacturer and authorized dealers or regional distributors, but it also revealed that inverters have remote shutdown capabilities. In May 2025, Reuters reported that U.S. experts found cellular radios not listed in the product documentation when dismantling Chinese-made inverters, raising further national security concerns. These devices could potentially be remotely activated, leading to large-scale power outages across the grid. On April 28, 2025, Spain and Portugal experienced a major power outage that resulted in a 60% reduction in power supply, marking the worst blackout in half a century. Both countries, proud of their renewable energy transformation, rely heavily on solar and wind power, and this crisis exposed a critical vulnerability. After the incident, Europe began re-examining the security of its renewable energy infrastructure, especially the risks associated with dependence on Chinese-made solar equipment. China is the world's largest exporter of power inverters, and many of the inverters used in Europe are made in China. Huawei Technologies is one of the major suppliers in the European market, holding a market share of around 1/3. Marius Bakke, vice president of energy research at Rystad Energy in Oslo, Norway, warned that remote access to Europe's power infrastructure through inverters, if hacked, could cause significant disruptions to the entire grid. Following the incident, Huawei was expelled from the European Solar Industry Association. Several senior Huawei executives were investigated in Brussels, with some even being formally charged for bribing EU lawmakers. However, security concerns extend beyond remote control features. According to Reuters, some Chinese-made inverters were found to contain mysterious communication devices, which could provide unauthorized communication channels, bypassing existing firewall protection mechanisms. Any Chinese-made equipment, including energy facilities and surveillance devices, could potentially contain Trojans or have communication settings designed to collect confidential data. The Chinese Communist Party has previously implanted communication functions in products like Hikvision surveillance cameras, AI platforms like DeepSeek, and even in offshore facilities like buoys. Europe's cybersecurity defenses in the renewable energy sector are relatively weak. The West first became aware of China's technological threat through Huawei's dominance in the 5G sector, which later expanded to the semiconductor field. However, in the renewable energy sector, the potential for CCP interference was initially overlooked. In recent years, Europe and the US have been considering countermeasures. In November 2024, the Lithuanian government passed a law banning China from remotely accessing solar, wind, and battery systems over 100 kilowatts. The UK government announced a review of Chinese renewable energy technologies, including the inspection of inverters. NATO officials also believe that it is essential to identify strategic dependencies and take steps to reduce reliance on China. According to Reuters, sources revealed that these rogue Chinese devices have undocumented communication channels that can bypass firewalls remotely and potentially cause catastrophic consequences. Malicious tampering and coordinated actions could lead to large-scale power outages and disruptions to the US and European power grids. Columnist Anders Kaur stated that if Beijing's dictatorships suddenly decide to act, or if a more serious situation arises, like the Taiwan conflict, CCP hackers could exploit these devices to bypass cybersecurity firewalls, communicate with China, and disrupt the majority of US and allied power grids. Kaur further remarked that the Trojan horse nature of the CCP's solar inverters signals that it's time for Washington's leaders to respond in a more agile, forward-thinking, and comprehensive manner,